Hello there, Yakuza desu and welcome to my review of Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise. So, this is a game created by the studios that made Yakuza, so Ryuga Gotoku, and it's in many ways very similar to a Yakuza game. So, you can identify the kind of humor they have in their games, in the Yakuza games, on the side quest or sub stories, however you want to call it. And the gameplay is also very similar in the fights, but of course you have I won't say reference, but you have the style that is characteristic of the story they are basing themselves on, which is Fist of the North Star. You also have these JoJo-like characters, so I feel like it's a JoJo game. Well, Fist of the North Star is used as a meme for JoJo, so I guess it's on the same line. As you can see, I felt inspired to look like Yuria, although when we talk about the characters, I'm basically gonna have more screen time than Yuria herself in the game. So it's a kind of a way to honor her, because from what some people have told me, although she doesn't have a lot of presence in this game, she is a very important character and a really interesting character in the original manga. I would be a bit curious to read the manga, but I don't really like the art, the style of the art, so I don't know, maybe I will try to read about it, because there was even a person that said she was like an Aerith kind of character, and that really made me curious. But that's for other stuff. So this game is basically from what I know, it adapts some kind of arc of the manga, but they really expanded upon it, because from what I understand, Fist of the North Star is a really long story focused not specifically on Kenshiro, which is the protagonist of this game, but is a really long story that happens in different parts of the world, different cities. And this game is focused on one place, Eden. So you explore the main city, Eden, and then you have the Wasteland, which is a more or less open space where you can find small villages, small towns, and explore, do more side quests, sub stories. I actually went through the entire map. I'm pretty sure that I missed side quests on that map, but I really at least tried to get all the points, all the save points that were available there, and see what was the entire map about. The story focuses on Kenshiro. You can see what was his life before, so he wasn't the strong man that you are now playing with, and then he went to learn martial arts, and all these quests he's doing is to save and to be together again with Yuria. And he discovers that she ended up walking to Eden. She was badly hurt at the time, and she went into Sphere City, which is connected to Eden, and entered the Chamber of Secrets so she could heal up, because they say that the Chamber of Secrets can heal whatever illness or wound a person may have. And later we will know that's not the only thing the Chamber of Secrets does, and this review will of course have spoilers, but we will have time to talk about that. So then you meet in this Eden city, you meet a lot of characters. So the first character that you meet is Jagre. Every time I looked at Jagre, I looked at the design, the kind of clothing that he was wearing, and I always thought about Waka. I cannot explain why. I think it's the pants, because the pants have a really specific design for Jagger, and sometimes it just reminded me of Waka. And Jagger, when Kenshiro arrives, he has some kind of I don't know, he just looks at him. I don't remember exactly what was the thing about it, but he just looked at Kenshiro and thought about the criminal. I think it was because he used martial arts and he had these hatred towards martial arts users. And he decides to imprison Kenshiro, but of course, Kenshiro is like Kiryu. He will punch his way through, not only through problems, but also into people's hearts. So Jagre becomes more or less a best friend for Kenshiro. Then you have Kisana. I really like Kisana's design and I like her personality also. She's the current ruler of Eden and also she's also entitled the Holy Maiden of Eden, and she basically takes care of everything in the city and she helps Kenshiro a lot too. Then you have Lyra, which is a more sexy character. I also like her design, especially because she has purple clothing, you know, she has a really nice design and she's more of a cheeky character, more sensual character, and she runs the nightclub at Eden. I was really excited because when they said nightclub, I was like, okay, nightclub, this is made by Ryuga Gotoku, so cabaret, right? But the minigame for the nightclub sucks, okay? And I didn't spend a lot of time doing it. I think I did like 5 or 6 missions, I don't know if I did that much, and was able to unlock one sub-story connected to the nightclub, but really, it's so boring compared to the cabaret in Yakuza 0. You will meet Kisana's father, too. I don't think it's a character that I would give much attention to. You also meet the other students of Hokuto Shinken, so Kenshiro knows a specific martial art which is named Hokuto Shinken. And the other students, you will meet them. You have Toki, which had an accident while protecting Kenshiro and was rendered more or less useless, but he can use Hokuto Shinken to heal, which is really different from what Kenshiro is able to do. And he teaches some techniques to Kenshiro. You will also meet Jagi, which I found really funny because he is a little crazy. He wanted to have Hokuto Shinken for himself, so he's really jealous of Kenshiro. And I thought it was really funny because he has Majima's voice actor. So I thought he would have more attention because of that, but he is really a small character in Kenshiro's story. And then you have the other student, which was the best student after Kenshiro, which I don't remember the name, but he was, I don't know, he was less memorable, I guess. And that's it for the characters. You also meet a lot of side characters along your story. You will meet an old lady that will make you own her like 10 million IDL. I didn't do that, by the way. You can give her the money if you are able to do that much money, but I wasn't able to. You also have you have a lot of mini games, of course. This is a Ryoga Gotoku game, so you have a lot of mini games. We already talked about the nightclub. The one that I thought that was really addictive and I tried to do, I don't think I did all of it, because you have the bartender can mini game, and it was really fun to do the drinks, see the sub stories related to that, having the max level with the characters, because each time you serve a drink to them, they raise their level, their like relationship with Kenshiro, and they are owners of business and you have more items available for you to buy due to that. I think there was one character that I needed still to level up, but you know, it's random and most of the times you just get regular clients which you already have maxed out, so it's a question of luck. But I was able to reach rank S, so I'm happy about that. You also have the clinic minigame, which was, I think like that's a kind of substitution of the karaoke minigame, because it's a rhythm game, and although Kenshiro is defeating bad guys. It's clinic, so it's supposed to heal people, but then he's fighting dudes, and it's a rhythm minigame. Don't question it, okay? Just accept it as it is. But it was really fun. I know there's a trophy for if you obtain rank S in all songs. I was able to reach rank A, but I was like, I did them 1 or 2 times, I think, and I wasn't going to just keep trying just to get an S in every one of them. So for me that's done. But it was a fun minigame. You may also have access to the arcades, but first you have to do the sub-story where you will find in treasure maps. So you have this mechanic when you fight against bad guys, of course, you sometimes gain items, and sometimes you gain treasure maps. These treasure maps have different ranks, and they give you different items, different stuff. And they have a specific time window for you to go get them. So it's not a thing that, oh yes, I will keep the treasure map and will look after it afterwards. No, you have a specific time, a few minutes to look for the treasure. And this was especially tough when sometimes, because of the story or because of other sub-stories, I didn't have access to the buggy. So you have the buggy so you can go into the wasteland. But you have restrictions about using the buggy, because if it's at night, you will talk to Bat, and Bat will say, oh no, you can't take the buggy because it's too dangerous at night. And sometimes you can't freely switch between being daytime or nighttime. So if the story is happening on nighttime, you can't go into the wasteland and look for the treasure. So that was sometimes a little... it was not really well thought out. And sometimes, because of other sub-stories, Bat would just disappear. And if Bat disappeared and I had to wait for his sub-story to continue, I would have no access to the buggy. So it's really tough to do that. I was able to find 2 arcade machines, but I just did the story and wasn't going to look for all the others. I think I got the race machine and the UFO catcher. Those were the 2 ones I was able to get. You have Lynn with her orders. Sometimes she has special orders which will lead to sub-stories. I wasn't able to do everything. That's basically a minigame where she will dress up for Kenshiro. For me it's kind of weird. She's a kid and Kenshiro is huge. But she really admires Kenshiro and she's dolling herself up for Kenshiro, I guess. I don't know. She just updated her dress and I think she got a necklace, something like that, and that's enough for me. But the minigames were really fun. The sub-stories were also a lot of fun. The mechanics of fighting. So Kenshiro is a little different from Kiryu when fighting, because Kiryu has this like barrier where he doesn't kill people. But Kenshiro has a martial arts technique that literally explodes with people. So basically, I don't know how many people Kenshiro killed on the entire game, because he just kills people, you know, he just explodes with them and they go bye-bye. So it's really different in that sense. But the gameplay is really similar to Yakuza games, so you have the combos with square, triangle, you have the dodging mechanic with X, you can lock onto your enemy. You also have heat, so you have not a heat bar, but you have the stars of Hokuto Shinken that you can fill up. You also can kill your enemies more or less instantly by channeling a point, so you can either do a special technique, that's a thing extra from the Yakuza games. You can press a circle and do a special technique where you will have a cutscene with quick action buttons, or you can just channel the point and take it out at the right moment and your opponent will just instantly die. Each time you do a good combo or do strike well a channeling point, you gain heat, so you can enter heat mode. I don't know which was the specific name for this game, but basically you enter heat mode with Kenshiro for a short time. No, you are not able to do hit actions at this. You can do something similar to hit action, but they are not exclusive to this hit mode. But it's really fun to fight. Sometimes there are just too many enemies. When I was just exploring the wasteland and some bandit cars would hit mine, I would be really pissed off. I wish that didn't happen. And of course, I will have now to enter spoiler zone to talk about the end of this game. So, the end of this game, if you have played Yakuza 2, you will see deja vu. You will see deja vu because it's, you know, the scene where they are at the place where there was a bomb and they have no way to disarm the bomb, and they are like, okay, we can contain this and we will just die here. So Kenshiro decides to open up the Chamber of Secrets. He locks down the chamber so that the bombs explode inside and do not affect everything else, because the Chamber of Secrets, when the chamber finishes healing up the person, it basically unlocks a huge bomb that's going to destroy the world. At least it's going to destroy the small world that Kenshiro knows. And he decides to close the chamber so that the bomb will affect only the people inside the chamber. And who is there? Him and Yuria. And they decide to die together. Just like in Yakuza 2, when Kaoru and Kiryu are there and they aren't going anywhere because Kiryu is too hurt, and they decide to die together in a really romantic and emotional moment. And we all know they survive after that. And that also happens with Kenshiro and Yuria, because we have a post-credit scene where we see them going off into the wasteland, supposedly to another place, supposedly to another adventure. We don't know, because this is the only game for Fist of the North Star. It's a really well done game. It has an amazing soundtrack between rock, different influences, sometimes instrumental music. It's really well done. I really enjoyed this experience. I really like the art style, which is different. It's more anime, more manga like than Yakuza. And if you enjoy Yakuza games, you will enjoy this game for the similarities, but also for its differences, because it's really a fun game to do. I didn't really talk about the villain. The villain is, I mean, it is what it is. You need a final boss. I died actually a few times because at the end, without save points, you have a fight rush, so you have to fight a really huge horde of enemies, and then you have the boss, which is not easy because it's one of those fast bosses that I don't really like. So please stock up on items, because I didn't do that and it was a really difficult to fight like that. But it's a really fun game and I really recommend it. I don't want to know anything else about Fist of the North Star, maybe a little more about Yuria. If I had to say that I wanted to cosplay a character from this game, I think it would be Kisana. I like her personality, I like her design. I also like Yuria, but unfortunately she's more of a plot device. I mean, she appears at the beginning of the game and at the end. So she's more of a plot device and the love interest of Kenshiro than she is a character. So, if you play this game, please tell me your thoughts. Tell me if you have watched the anime, read the manga, if there are informations about the characters that you want to share with me. And just keep checking on my Twitch channel, because I will be starting other games. I already said, after Fist of the North Star, I will play another Resident Evil, which now is called Veronica, and then we will continue on our series of Yakuzas and Resident Evil. So, thank you so much. I hope to see you next time, and may music always be your life force.